Yo, it's old boy 82, yeah, and I'm doing some of the crime stuff. This is the last ever True Detective magazine, January 24, right? And we're gonna look at America's Most Evil. Now, this is my stories on the Bog series, where I literally sit on the toilet and tell you the story of a magazine. So big up to this magazine, and rest in peace to this magazine. But rest in peace to all the people who've been affected by this crime. And just please listen. And here we go. Right. First of all, you mind here, Larry Bright. Right. They called him Digger. Now, call him Digger, and you'll find out in a bit why. This was a case report by Jeff Wolf. WOOLF, right? So Larry Bright settles his mother in a favourite chair and sits down close beside her to watch the evening news on television. "Okay, darling," he asks anxiously. Plug me a cushion so it fits more snugly around the nape of her neck. She squeezes his hand and she smiles. The body of an Afro-American woman found in Peoria, Illinois, could be another victim of the serial killer linked to 6 deaths in the area since 2001, says a newsreader. Mother and son watch silently as the footage shows the field where the strangled Brenda Irving, and let's see if we've got Brenda Irving's face here. No, we've not. Right. Anyway, so where Brenda Irving was discovered face up in the mud naked except for a pair of white socks. Bright is excited by the coverage, but he's terrified his mother might sense the physical quickening and tension that he always feels when confronted with media reports of what he has done. He wants to be the perfect son, but he wonders if she has ever seen the boxes of hardcore pornography hidden under the bed. I accidentally glimpsed images on his computer of black women being raped and maimed. Does she ever wonder why he likes so many bonfires in the backyard, or he digs so many holes? Has she heard strange noises coming from the shed? One of the neighbours has even nicknamed him Digger, as I said, because he's always out there with a shovel. Time and time again, she's forgiven him for things. When he was 19, he served 2 years in prison for stealing cars and burglaries. The experience seemed to change him dramatically. They usually call it a shock over him, but right. So after his release, he started using cocaine. He was drinking excessively. His reliance on it grew even heavier after he injured his back while working as a builder. He had to have 3 serious operations and became addicted to painkillers. Physically unable to work at his trade and increasingly dependent on drugs and alcohol, he sank into a deep depression. It was in this darkness that he started picking up black prostitutes and joking with his drinking buddies that he'd take them home to meet his mum. He did take them home, but his mum never met them. They were already helpless with drugs by the time he flew into his post-sex rage and asphyxiated or overdosed them in Mama's shed. Women like Mother of 5, Laura Lola, still we haven't got a picture of her, right, who disappeared in October 2004. She was aged 33. He never remembered the names. He logged where when he met them. Now he got rid of them. Can't remember the names though. Fucking hell, nice guy. Laura was one of the specials. He decided to leave her at home where she'd be looked after, he says. He saw her one soft autumn evening in Peoria's red light district. The riverside city is iconic in the US for its all-American ordinariness. It has won prizes for being well-mannered, and it was once said on the vaudeville circuit that if an act could survive Peoria, it could survive anywhere. One of its closest neighbours is The Simpsons, as in, like, finger groaning, Anchor's area, and that The Simpsons, Springfield. Peoria's population of 113,000 was a quarter black, above average for the state of Illinois. And the city had its share of low-income families, drug ghettos, prostitution. Laura was one of its casualties, distanced from her children and family by drugs and lifestyle. She had no fixed home, but dozed wherever she could, and she sold herself to fund her habit. It's sad, but some way to do it, and they're putting herself in the crosshairs there, and it's like you just have to look Gary Ridge where your Ted Bundys and all that, but Ted Bundy, well, my garage, where's that, Shawcross and that, fucking Ed Kemp or whatever. Right, I've got cash and drugs at my place, said Bright. Like other women on the streets, Laura knew black prostitutes in Peoria had been vanishing without trace for over a year. And she has put herself in danger there, but I say, that she guy there, would you look at him and think maybe there's something dangerous there? I don't know. I personally think, but I've done a lot of jail myself, I've seen people at 1,000-yard stairs anyway. Laura was once one of its casualties, distanced from her children and family by drugs and lifestyle. She had no fixed home but doors wherever she could and sold herself to fund her. I've got cash and drugs at my place, said Bright. Like other women on the streets, Laura knew black prostitutes in Peoria had been vanishing without trace for over a year. So I'll tell you that bit again just so it sinks in. Selling sex was always risky. You just took your chances, prayed the creep didn't pick you, tried to keep a weapon handy. By the time Laura realised she was the next victim, it was too late. The drugs had kicked in and the pain he had inflicted on her was beginning to blur. When his hand squeezed her throat in one last vicious show of power, she was almost unconscious. Whatever he did to her now was beyond her concern, or control, I suppose. But he saw it as her final humiliation, the sick fuck, for being a woman and for being black. Now, I don't know exactly where the writers got this from. I mean, did he definitely do it because they were black, or is it because, unfortunately, if you have a quarter of the population that are black people do tend to do not as well in America and in the ghetto, there may be more prostitution among the black cause. No, I'm not saying anything wrong, I'm just telling you like statistically. Anyway, afterwards, zipping up his jeans, he wrapped a sheet around Laura's body. He looked out into the yard and he tipped her into a large metal drum. He covered it with twigs and leaves, he sprinkled on some petrol. And as dawn broke, the first flames had abated and the fire was smouldering nicely. There's always a smell, but the yard was far enough away from neighbours not to prompt any awkward questions. And Mother never seemed to query what he did. It was just good old Larry working in the garden early because he couldn't sleep. Sometimes he left the women incinerating for nearly 2 days before crushing their ashy remains, sweeping them into buckets, and either burying them in the garden, like some hellish dog, or throwing them away in the surrounding countryside. Other times he dumped the corpses on lonely verges, dried up creeks and cornfields. By summer, right, so I would have been right saying September, that's the end of, but by summer 2004, even polite Peoria was beginning to rumble with questions about police incompetence, while the black community erupted with anger in a series of public meetings, each attended by several hundred residents. What started as questions and answer sessions between public and police quickly dissolved into a furious outpouring of emotion as families and friends of the missing woman joined campaigners to point accusing fingers at the team. Right, is police and labourers that are brought in, to have a look, to see what they were doing around the property. And here's some victims, so obviously you can see that, but from left to right, Barbara Williams, Sabrina Payne. Below, you've got Shakonda Thomas and Tamara Wales. So these 4 females was unlucky. Well, not unlucky. Some sicko just decided that he's going to do what he's going to do. Anyway, right, there's Laura Lolo. Right. Of all white male detectives who were supposed to be investigating the deaths and disappearances of 6 black women, people wanted to know if it was because they were black prostitutes with drug problems that no one cared enough to find out who was killing them. It would be different, they said, if the victims were middle-class whites. Racial tensions flared, and the police swiftly agreed to form a special task force devoted to the murders and disappearances. The community took a long, hard look at itself, and many new social initiatives grew out of the tragedies. Shelters for homeless women, more support services, church family help groups, more liaison between police and non-white Peorians, even enough funds to pay for Brenda Irving's funeral because her family could not afford one. Right. Um, is Larry again. And look what it says there. He could not stop killing of his own accord. For each of them. These women, these very fortunate women, told me that Bright went from being a regular John to a violent act, said State District Attorney Kevin Lyons. Next day, leader writers voiced many people's views that fortunate seemed a strangely ill-chosen word to describe women who had faced a homicidal maniac. Customers at a bar also told investigators that they had seen Linda Neal with Bright the night she disappeared, but the final break came when cops discovered Bright had kept one woman a prisoner for 2 weeks. He was arrested and charged with drug possession, aggravated unlawful restraint. At the time, he denied any connection to the murders and agreed to give the authorities a DNA sample. The timing was lucky. Unknown to him, Linda Neal's body had just been found by a group of shocked campers on the banks of the Mackinac River. Discovery freed police to search the mother's home for more clues, and the case blew wide open. The excavators began to dig up his mother's garden. Larry Bright showed them the locations of other remains, including some on his grandmother's property. 63 patch of disturbed dirt in the yard. Detectives came across bones that turned out to be human vertebrae. The vertebrae being like backbones. As soon as prosecutors served Bright with a warrant to dig up the rest of his mother's garden, he crumbled and told them how he had strangled Linda Neal, dragged her body to his truck and hauled her to the river where he dumped her. Despite his anguish, pleased that his beloved mama should not be upset, police removed her from the home and brought in heavy excavating equipment. Bright then took police on a ghoulish tour of Peoria County, showing them where he had thrown some of his other victims. Just thrown them like trash, you know what I mean? Forensic expert, a piece of shit, man. Forensic experts found Tammy Wall's large bones and skull fragments in his grandmother's garden. Taken back to his mother's home in shackles, he pointed to different spots in the backyard where he had buried Lola, Shirley Ann Trapp, and Shaquanda Thomas. There were hundreds of charred skull and bone fragments, none larger than a golf ball. During a preliminary court hearing, Bright repeatedly tried to plead guilty to the crimes, but the judge rejected his plea in order to protect his future legal rights. He said that he didn't want to put his mum through the agonies of a child. I know I've committed some horrible and unthinkable acts. Yeah? Well, that means that you have sound mind saying that. In a statement, Bright said, I don't want to put my mum through that. Well, just anyway. Although Bright quickly confessed to killing 8 women since 2003, he was chargeable with 2 counts of murder, Brenda Irving and Linda Neal. While the authorities awaited the results of the DNA test that could bring new charges against him, he faced the death penalty if convicted. A month later, however, his attitude had changed. The mother he had lived with for the last 10 years, the mother whose home had become a killing ground, convinced him to plead not guilty and fight for his life. He's especially close to his mother, and it's important to explain defence attorney J. Elmore. The man is not without soul, conscience and remorse. In the end, Bright faced 3 charges of killing Tammy Wells, Linda Neal and Brenda Irving. Guided by the families of the dead women, District Attorney Kevin Lyons gave him the choice of standing trial on these 3 counts and risking the death penalty, or admitting to the murders of 5 other women and getting a plea deal on all 8 killings. 39-year-old Bright chose the deal and was sentenced to life in prison without parole and with no right to appeal. In the aftermath of the sentencing, black leaders in Peoria explained that it had taken far too long to catch Bright. Timothy Chris, pastor at the City of Refuge Centre where so many public meetings had been held, said the feeling was that these were black women with a tainted background, but each victim was someone's mother, someone's daughter, someone's aunt. It was only after we organised protests when one black woman after another went missing that police made this case a priority. The deaths of Wanda Jackson and Frederica Brown remained unsolved, as Bright insisted he had not killed them. Lyons said Bright had no reason to lie, and he feared they may have died at the hands of a copycat killer. I mean, Gary Ridgway, I was going about him, but his was supposed to be in the hundreds, 49, he got done for that. It was just because the judge just couldn't knock me out. It was taking like 2-3 hours to get all the dude plead guilty to the such and such a day. But listen, thankfully though, Bright at least will never leave prison alive, said Lyons. His killing spree has now ended. Serial killers like him cannot stop of their own accord, because they're never satisfied. That's how he was apprehended. He couldn't stop until he was caught. This is Old Boy 82, over and out, right? With help from True Crime Magazine, who ran there, like I say, the last one, January 2024. And big up to them for providing a lot of material for me over the years. And big up to everybody who started watching again on this new channel. Please start getting the likes and subs in so I can start getting some of it, please, and start giving you better quality. Don't know what else to say, do you know what I mean? It's just that is a bit of a shit case, but the way you look at it is, he's another unknown serial killer. He's not Ted Bundy, he's not Ed Kemper, he's not Gary Ridgway, he's not them, do you know what I mean? He doesn't get mentioned a lot, so he's not didn't really get mentioned, so there you go. It's a serial killer you didn't know existed. Well, 82, over now. Bye bye.